We'll delve into the psyche of three of the youngest serial killers in history, seeking to shed light on the factors that led to their heinous acts. It is important to examine the intricate relationship between their brain chemistry, genetics, and upbringing. The psyche of a child serial killer is a deeply disturbing and complex subject. How do you identify a serial killer? What are the signs you should watch out for? Could you ever imagine that a child can do that too? Identifying potential child serial killers is difficult, but there can be warning signs, such as a history of cruelty to animals, fire setting, bedwetting beyond an age-appropriate range, and a fascination with violence or death. Many serial killers, both child and adult, have experienced severe childhood trauma, including physical, sexual, or emotional abuse. Child serial killers often display a lack of empathy and remorse for their actions. This lack of empathy can be attributed to a variety of factors, including a dysfunctional family environment or a personality disorder. Our first killer is Mary Bell, known to be one of the youngest female serial killers who have walked the face of the earth. The case of Mary Bell is indeed a notable one. This young female who committed serious crimes was not just yet qualified to be a serial killer. Mary Bell was born in Britain. She was the child who was convicted of manslaughter given the deaths of two young boys in the early 1960s. She was born on May 26, 1957, in Newcastle upon Tyne, England. Their parents did not have a good emotional situation at home. Her troubled upbringing and lack of emotional regulation played a monumental role in her actions. Betty Bell had a mother who was a sex worker. Undoubtedly, Mary was often neglected and subjected to abuse and violence due to her mother's absence from her life. This turbulent environment caused her to recruit her most rabid self and commit some spine-chilling crimes at a young age. The incident dates back to when Mary Bell was just 11 years old. She and her acquaintance Norma Bell were accused of being responsible for the deaths of two young boys. Mary strangled her first victim was Martin Brown, a 4-year-old boy. This incident took place as Mary dragged the boy into an abandoned house and didn't leave until he was dead. The second victim was 3-year-old Brian Howe. He was even strangled in an abandoned house. There was a pattern in which Mary was committing these murders. Coming from a place of unrest, Mary and her friend left behind disturbing messages and mutilated the bodies of the victims. Due to her age, Mary Bell couldn't be tried for murder, but was instead convicted of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. She was sentenced to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure, which essentially meant an undefined period of incarceration. This, however, could come with the possibility of parole. Mary's story throws light on the importance of guided and healthy parenting. Her story challenges our understanding of juvenile criminality and explores the influence of early trauma on criminal behavior. The next child serial killer is Jesse Pomeroy, who was known as the Boston Boy Fiend. He's another chilling example. Jesse Pomeroy is a notorious historical figure in the history of America. He came to be known as one of the youngest serial killers. His sadistic tendencies became prominent when he was just a child. He would torture animals brutally and also threaten other children. In 1872, at the age of 12, Jesse Pomeroy lost control. He went on a spree of violent attacks on far younger children, even toddlers. His pattern is that he would lure them into remote areas, abandoned houses, or even basements and mutilate them until they were unrecognizable. In 1874, Jesse Pomeroy was finally caught and arrested. Jesse Pomeroy was sentenced to the Massachusetts State Reform School for Boys, where he went on to serve his sentence till he turned 18. Jesse Pomeroy's case is a disturbing one. His case is proof of extreme violence, and a young offender who exhibits psychopathic tendencies can affect the society. His crimes and the strange case study he left behind continued to be a subject of fascination in the fields of psychology. Now comes the story of Eric Smith, who committed a mutilating murder at the tender age of 13. He has illustrated a complex situation where mental health issues, social isolation, and violence have all fallen on the same place. On August 2, 1993, Eric Smith, born in Steuben County, New York, USA, he encountered 4-year-old Derek Roby in a park in the village of Savona and lured him into a remote area and then brutally attacked him. That eventually caused the victim's death. The crime involved sexual assault and extreme violence, making it a disturbing one. Smith was arrested and soon enough subsequently confessed to the murder. Fast forward to 1994, when during his trial he was found guilty of second-degree murder. Due to the intensity of the crime, he was charged as an adult and eventually received a lengthy prison sentence. These stories serve as a stark reminder of the importance of nurturing and protecting vulnerable children. By understanding the factors that contribute to such crimes, we can work towards creating a society that identifies, intervenes, and prevents these tragedies from happening again.